They tell you not to think about how far you have to go, but it's really hard not to think about that, at least at some points, especially, you know, you hit a 10-mile mark and you're like, 90 miles to go. 100 mile, you is more within yourself. You're mentally, you're just trying to force yourself to keep going no matter what that takes, be that a trot or a slow walk, or if you can maintain a jog 80 miles in, more power to you.
After moving from Colorado to New York City, Steve Green looked for something to keep him in shape, so he started running. And in only 3 years, he has run 15 marathons and 12 ultramarathons, including the Tesla Hertz 100-mile race on Saturday, October 8th, which he finished in just over 25 hours.
I respect the people who show up and run a 5K and do the best they can as much as I do for anyone who runs 100 miles, because it's all about pushing yourself and making yourself better, be that in terms of speed or just getting out and being active or getting to know people and being more social or whatever it is. A marathon, you tend to show up, and especially if it's one where you can qualify for Boston or it's a bigger one, there's hundreds of people, there will be people cheering. But the 100 miles I've done, you show up and there's 13 people at the start line. It's a guy who printed out a banner that says start across, and there's, you know, the 10 of you that line up to go, the count off begins and they say go, and everyone takes off at a very slow trot. I've never been one to consider a failure if I miss my time or if things don't go as planned. It's about going against myself and seeing what my body can do. And you know, once I start running, even on the incredibly long ones, it really just becomes even halfway through the race, I can't remember what I was thinking about, you know, 4 hours before sometimes, and time just kind of flies by. It just builds a lot of perseverance and a lot of mental toughness that you really don't necessarily know you have until you've toughed through and really hit the bottom. You know, you're going to hit the bottom somewhere in the race, and you can either stop or overcome it. There are a lot of times when I'm having a tough day or things aren't going right, when I'm like, you know what, if I can do that, I can tough through this conference call or whatever I need to do for work. In my experience, really, it's also about the people you meet who do these things. I've never met anyone who I didn't like who did one of these races, and I've also never done an ultra where I didn't meet someone who I then became friends with, who I've kept in touch with or have done further races with. It's not ideal to run the distances that you need to train for a 100-mile in the city, but at the same time, I just love getting up and seeing, one, the city in the morning when nobody is out. It's just a different experience. Minus the few people that I cross paths with who are leaving the bars when I'm going to work out, it's a very quiet and it's a different type of atmosphere than really you see any other time in New York. But also the people that I see at the workouts are just so happy and energetic and alive, and they help push you, and they're great to be around. And I feel like I've missed out and not really started my day as good as I can if I don't start with that around me. I guess as I got more involved in running, I had grown more involved in the community and knew more people, and as that happened, I just ended up being around more people who were running more often. And you just look around one day and suddenly you're comfortably running 40 miles a week and don't really know how it happened.